we have a debit card. We don't take checks. I go, Bob, you got a credit card? He goes, no. Shoot. I have a credit card. Okay, and so they throw it over. Then they kind of say, okay, by the way, you have a bubble on the other, another tire too. You want us to fix that? I'll go, oh no. It'll be fine. So they put a $10 spare tire on. Now we're driving to the concert. Now it's raining a little bit more, and I say, Bob, we're going to Minnesota Zoo to see a concert outdoors. Bruce Colbert and James Dean, both one of the artists. If we see a gas station, we have to stop and get some ponchos or something.
Yes.
Get to the zoo. You can tell them too. And they walk in and they selling Minnesota Zoo ponchos. With that wonderful smell of like an inner tooth thing when you roll around it. When you pull it over, then people think we work for the zoo. They go, oh, which way does the concert go? Oh, that way. Get to the concert. Quite nice. Janet Dean does a wonderful set. Bruce Colbert comes out. He has about 8 songs. He goes out. There's lightning coming. I have to quit. But I was going to quit about 4 songs anyway, so good night. He leaves. We walk back and buy the place. We're walking in. Bob says, by the way, but the thruster doesn't work. Bob, it's in August now. You have 2 guys who are sopping wet in a car. Well, yeah, that'll be fun. Suddenly, we get in the car and starts. It's an instant fog. You cannot see a thing. So I said, well, here, you have and in the back, you have newspapers, you have coffee cups, you know. Your new car is perfectly clean. But at this time, this was not the new car. This is the car that keeps going into. So I don't think, like, you see your newspapers and wipe off part of the windshield so we got some steam for a bit. And we had no idea where we were. It's like, oh, I don't know where we are. So where's the car? I don't know. I'm cleaning the windshield. And it's running off ground. It's no fun. And we get over a hill and suddenly you see the light of birds that we all it's like, we can make it now. We can make it home. Now the last verse. You wore your buttons around till your tootsies touched the ground. You got hooked up, not going for it, says a wine tower. But we've never seen you wearing shorts. Do you own a pair? Or is it a forfeit taboo to show tattoos?
Interestingly enough, he did take off the sound of silence. The first concert I ever attended in my life was 1965 at the NDSU Fieldhouse, side of the Garden. And they played Sound of Silence. Well, what else would they play? So, the second thing, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but you know how fiction writers, will take their material and mold it? Everything he said was absolutely he didn't exaggerate. He told it exactly. It was a night. It was a night. 60 years of therapy that you talk about it. One thing we didn't mention though is when we got these Minnesota ponchos, then all of a sudden everybody thought that we weren't supposed to say He beat me back. I think I did pay you back. He did pay me back. But I got up a little bit better. It was a new car. Might be. Thank you. That was great. Thanks.
Well, I wanted to say a few words too. It's been wonderful working with Bob for the last 15 years. I remember my first media specialist meeting, and Char, and the spark that flew, and the passion, and it's like, who would have thought, me especially, that now, and more than 15 years, the passion that Bob has shown for his job is amazing, and a model for us, and he's also been an inspiration for us. Another story or thing that I remember is when we had one of those workshops a couple years ago, and the district was having us learn how to do some games that we could have, download games that we could have use in our classrooms, and they had a Jeopardy game, and Bob did every answer right. He knew every answer, he knew it right away, and I said, you should
I'll watch my way.
And the other thing that really, I heard this so many times, when the kids would come over in the 6th grade, and they come up to me at the middle school, and they'd say, Bob Kemmer is the best librarian in the whole world. And that is a tribute to all of us.
Excuse me, those Olympic kids, those from Lincoln.
Yeah, no.
They had a very narrow experience.
Yeah, it is an honor and a privilege to work with you.
Well, thank you so much. I do have some culture for being, I met a student at Nelson's grocery store the other day. It was 3rd grade. And of course she saw me and she was really happy to see me and ran over and gave me a big hug. And I started talking, asking a few questions, and all of a sudden she looked up at me really sad in her eyes. She said, the aquarium away. So you're immediately put in your place. Why? Yeah, it was really. Being so supportive. This was what I thought our media was one of the safest parts of the whole thing. And everybody I worked with. But it's really, I mean, it's the 2 aides that I've had, the one and a half, really contributed the most to me on a regular basis. And both of them were extraordinary. But I got to tell a little story, and then I will elaborate. Both of my aides were individuals, and they were self-motivated, and they were hardworking, and and they were very punctual, and certainly better dressed than me. But one day we were standing in the hallway, and Billy Blackman, who I think is astrophysicist, okay, so he does have credentials to be a rather bright young man. And the question was to Billy as he stood there, who was the librarian when you were at Lincoln? And he said, Aunt Irene, of course.
Honorary title.
And I don't want to be nasty to the new librarian at Lincoln, but I was talking to a student the other day, and I got to talk to him, and I asked, I said, because I honestly didn't really even know who the new librarian was. I had heard a couple names and that. But I asked the librarian, or this 4th grader, who the new librarian was, and she said, "This is Mrs. Johnson." Now, the point of the story is that both of these people established themselves as full-fledged and full contributors, and they are much more than aides. Now, one more little tidbit that I want to add to this. Several years ago, this is when Irene was my aide, we went to, I believe it was Rochester, and we met an author named Sid Fletcher, who was a very, very major author. He won the Newbery for Whipping Boy. But he had a series of books called the Broom Books, which were literary tall tales. And the premise of the books was that he owned 1 acre of land.
And the land was so rich that like the children left a jack on the ground outside the house. In the morning, it was a jungle gym. So when I picked up a book and I went to the Fleshman and I'll never forget this. I said, I want this for Irene Eiler, and I want you to autograph it to somebody that's richer than McBroom's 1 acre. And Fleshman looked up at me and said, I won't write that. And I said, why not? He says, I'm the author. And I was a little bit taken back by that, but he had a point. But my point is that most of my age were as rich and productive as that and now we would be retired, right? Well, yeah, I'm still apologizing for that. We're almost through, so we thought we could get on. No. That's right. This is more fun than a back in school. When we went to those conferences, the talk back and forth between Luke and Bob and some of the others, it reminded me of it tonight. It was just constant laughter. The highlight of the conference was back and forth. And, you know, when I first met Bob, I thought I knew a little bit about children's literature. And it didn't take long until I found out I didn't know anything about children's literature. Bob's knowledge was just amazing. I remember the first time that I had a chance to see him in actual class. And it was magic. It was pure magic. It reminded me of the animation, the voice, the writing, and the falling. And kids were riveted in on that book. And how many hundreds and thousands of kids who are now adults have developed a love of reading because of Bob. And it didn't have anything to do with the cold, rigid stuff of multiple choice questions. It had to do with the art of a master teacher. And no, technology was another story. My nickname was Mr. Lotek.
Until you got the emphasis.
But you know, once Bob saw that technology was here to stay, and that was going to be a part of the media program, he really became a good soldier. He learned the technology, he learned computers, and again, I remember when I would have a chance to read that computer at Lincoln and see the master teacher at work, the passion was there, the animation was there. How many kids have learned and practiced media and technology skills because of Bob's time? But I remember the most from all the years, and it was good to be together. It was great. I mean, it was just such a great spirit. I miss that. I don't miss a lot of other things, but I miss that. But I think it was the last week that I stopped by to say goodbye to Bob from my years here and as was usually the case when I was over there, the kids were flocking around. There was flocking, he was like a magnet to the kids. I think most of us have seen that. He was laughing and animated and answering questions. And it dawned on me then, what's the magic? Well, the magic that was teaching. I think it was that you loved those kids. And they loved him. And that made a difference. And you made a difference in all of our lives. Well, thank you so much.
Bob, do you remember when we were getting ready to go on computers? And Brian was one of our data input people when he was, what, 15 or something?
Yep.
I mean, Denny came and said, he thought, well, I made Bob do inventory. And I was head of department at that time, and so I went over and we did inventory together. And Bob said, but that's so good. I said, but I was in 3rd grade when that book came out, and he said, how do you know that? I said, 53, I was in 3rd grade. And he just wouldn't get rid of anything. And do you remember what happened when we went to see Jose Arguego? You were chasing the olives across the floor? Wasn't it the olives you lost off your plate and you were chasing?
I do remember that.
Rochester kind of was our start for having our year as a reader. We used to go down every year because they had a grant. And I remember Jose Arguego, and that was really a funny one. We went to...
That was the first time we had chef, too.
Yeah.
Young man.
Well, and then Mark Brown was in Mankato, and that was right after he wrote his first book, down at Books Alive. So we used to go around to see a lot of those.
That was
Tommy DePaulo, you.
In fact, I counted my autograph copies, and I think I have 450.
Well, I'm going to take the presumption of being the next person to speak. I just want to thank Bob because I was one of his oldest students. At about 46 years of age, I decided to get my master's to work on becoming a librarian too. And Bob was the first person I ran to when I had questions, not only for my summer school classroom with at-risk readers, but for what to do in my classes and how to learn what I needed to learn, because my focus has always been young adult literature. And so, as one of your oldest students, I just want to thank you. A kindred spirit for sure you are, and thank you for all that you inputted in my life and how you helped me be a better teacher. I'm so grateful.
Of course, I always love to talk about children's literature. So anybody that indulges me is doing me a favor. That probably will be one of the things that really hit me as time goes on. So I might be talking to strangers about children's literature, and they'll be looking at me like, what's going on?
Hey, Bob, maybe you could go on I Want to Be a Millionaire or one of those shows, because you could probably miss it no time at all.
I'd like to say 2 words. I'll try to use my theater voice so that it doesn't go in I can kind of trick my brain by changing the pitch to a slower or a higher pitch. It sounds like I'm putting on airs, but at least it keeps it from going into spasm. I'll stand in the middle so that you can hear. When you get to be 76, your ears start going and your eyes start going, like me to go, oh yeah, you know, aware of that, or if you're sitting on the end. Bob mentioned we have these days when he's meeting students that we have in 3rd grade or 4th grader, and it's been 14 years since we worked together, Bob. Seems like yesterday, but sometimes when you're trying to think back, remember things. But Bob and I always used to go to, well, I was going to say about that meeting right now, and I hope.
We're giving you the bill, Bob.
Well, wow, thank you so much. This is especially significant to me, too, because it's a award winner. And I actually used this the last year because I was always talking about genre. And I was listening to, over the other day, I was listening to that. And we had a little girl on who sings like an angel. She was on American Got Talent. not only she could think of, she's a charming little 10-year-old girl, and Oprah was asking her questions, and she said, oh, I love to write and I love to read, and then she said, all genres. And I thought, oh, guys, I hope one of the kids that was exposed to me will answer a question like that, because they actually know that genre is something significant and would actually use it actively. But this is a beautiful, wordless retelling of The Lion and the Mouse. And it's an exquisite book, so thank you very, very, very much. And then, of course, Lincoln Lion, too.
Yeah.